Hey there, it's Kathy with Be Creative with Kathy, and in this video I'm going to show you how I put together June's Stamp Club packets. So it looks like this. You get two cards that, whoops, they don't need that. Two cards that we're going to make together. One card I pre-made for you. It looks like this, but we're going to make these two together here. So in your packet, we need to take out the Calypso card base and everything that's on top of that. So it looks like that. And then we're gonna need to stamp on this big piece of white for the two cards. Now, I just finished with Stamp Club and on our Zoom session, and I have half of my cardstock left, so I'm gonna just use this piece. You'll have a big piece like this, which is just a quarter sheet of a basic white cardstock. You have that big piece to stamp your pieces on. I'm gonna save this for another project and just use what's left over, because you really don't need a piece that big, but it was easier to send you one like that than to worry, like I said, trying to get one smaller. So in this package, you'll need, this is a 11-inch by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2. We'll need that card base. We'll need this piece of Calypso Coral that we'll use later. It's scored for you too, and I can't remember the size of it, to be honest. You can go to my blog, becreativekathy.com, and all the measurements will be on there, and the link will be down below. These 3 pieces of Designer Series paper, we'll use those later, set those aside. Like I said, we're going to stamp on the scrap. We're going to stamp on this scalloped rectangle and these 4 white squares like this. And we'll set these pieces that are cut with the Stylish Shape dies. They're new in the annual catalog of the squares. We're going to set those aside just in case you want to make the card. Now you know what I've used. This is from the Scallop Contour dies. That's what this rectangle or scalloped rectangle is for. Okay, so like I said, this is what we're going to stamp on. I'm going to bring my mat out, and I'm going to start with this piece here. Now I have my ink pads, and for this card we're going to use the Calypso Coral, some Pale Papaya. I'm going to use Pear Pizzazz, and I'm going to start with this Early Espresso. That's what I'm going to stamp the happy birthday at the bottom of this piece. So let me find my happy birthday stamp here. Now, you wouldn't necessarily have to stamp happy birthday. There's lots of options in the stamp set. You could really stamp whatever you want. I'm going to do happy birthday. So I'm going to stamp my happy birthday down here at the bottom, just where it looks good. I'll still have plenty of room for my, I'm going to call them sprigs up here. Right, there's my happy birthday. Then I'm going to bring in that Pear Pizzazz and this sprig of leaves right here. And I'm going to stamp that. Now, because I'm going to stamp this card, looks like, where did my sample card go? Looks like this. I'm going to stamp my stem so that the peach stem is hanging down. So in that Pear Pizzazz, I'm going to just ink that up good and stamp that right here in the center, like I said, with the peach stem hanging down. Ta-da! Then up here above it, I want to do that Let's Celebrate You. I'm going to stamp that. That's not the right one. Let's Celebrate You. Here it is. I'm going to stamp that in some Calypso Coral. Just another color that's in the Designer Series paper, that's in the peaches. We're going to stamp them right up here. Try to get them straight so it looks like that. Excuse me. Now let's bring in those little squares. Let's stamp on those. And we'll open the card so we have like a point of reference. We can see what we're doing here. So up here at the top, I'm going to start with those little flowers. And I'm going to kind of just place some, oops, not in the Calypso Coral. I want to stamp those in the pear, nope, not the pear. Pale Papaya, here it is hiding under my white piece. I was looking all over for it. But I'm going to ink up those good. And I'm going to stamp those in the corner here. About maybe there. Cute. And then with that Calypso Coral ink, I'm going to stamp the insides with that little, well, the inside of the flower. kind of looks like a firework. But I'm going to stamp those just right there on the inside. And then with some Pear Pizzazz and those itty bitty leafs that are stamp set. Let me show you the stamp right here. This little tiny leaf stamp in some Pear Pizzazz. And I'm going to stamp those around these little flowers. So I'm going to put one here. And I'm going to do a total of 5 because, as you know, when you're stamping, you never want to leave with an even number, even when it comes to little stamps like this. 3, and then one right here, and then our last one right over there. And then last but not least, I want to stamp this To a Sweet Friend, and I'm going to stamp that in Early Espresso. Oop, almost hit myself. Whew. To a Sweet Friend, that's this one here. I'm going to ink that up. Very light touch here because it's such a fine stamp. Let me try to get my square straight to me. Line it up with the bottom and then just stamp that down. Not applying a lot of pressure. And then there you go. You have To a Sweet Friend. Come and set that aside. Let's work on the next one. I'm going to bring in that Calypso Coral. I want to stamp this Sweet as a Peach first. I think that's kind of the focal point for this square. So I'm going to stamp that one. Let me make sure I have the right, yep, here, Sweet as a Peach. So I'm going to just stamp this about in the center, just a shade to the right. Whoops, let me get in the camera there. There we go. So I'm going to stamp that like that. And then the words Your As in Early Espresso. Up here next to it. Try to get it straight and little light pressure because it's such a fine line. Look how cute that is. Although these stamps I think are pretty user friendly. And then on this square, the last stamping on this square, I'm going to bring in that Pale Papaya again. And these little teeny tiny flowers look like this. I'm going to just stamp those in the corner. Let me find them. Where did they, are they still in the stamp set? Yes, they are. I must have put them away. So we're going to take those. And like I said, I'm going to just stamp them, kind of frame this word here, and then frame that little Sweet as a Peach down there. Then we have that square all done. I'm going to set that one aside. What did I do with my last one? There they are. Okay. And then we're going to go on this one. We're going to stamp that big peach. Now there's 2 ways you can do this. You can stamp the peach first. I suggest you stamp him kind of upright, not too much of an angle, because I've noticed that on this one, my leaf is stayed where I wanted it, but on other ones, the leaf has been, I'm going to call it off the camera, or it goes off the square. So you could stamp your leaves first, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this Pear Pizzazz, and I'm going to stamp my leaf in the corner. And then that way I can line the peach up and my leaf will be in the corner. But I think when we had Zoom today, they just did their peach more of a like a stand-up direct kind of thing, and then the peach stayed in the square. But might be a practice thing. If it don't do it the first time, then just turn it over and stamp it again. Thank goodness paper has 2 sides, right? So I'm going to ink that up in the Pale Papaya, that large peach that's in the stamp set. And then with the Calypso Coral, I'm going to use my dauber here. And I'm going to just ink up the side here. Just daub a little bit of ink here. And then I am going to huff. Line that peach up with my stem. And then there we go like that. There you go. So now everything's in my little square. Oh, before I put that Calypso Coral away, on this last square, I'm going to stamp this Have a Peachy Day in the Calypso Coral again. And I'm going to stamp it toward the top, and that way I can write my name or my sentiment or whatever I want to write on my card at the bottom. And then just to bring some more color to that little piece, using those itty bitty leaves again, I'm going to bring in some Pear Pizzazz and stamp that little leaf right there by my Y on the peachy, just to give it a little bit of color. Look how cute that is. Okay, now for this card, I believe, oh, we have one more thing to stamp. Now on that scrap of paper, remember, like I said, yours is a little bit bigger than mine. I've already used half of mine for the Zoom meeting that we had. I'm gonna bring in this stamp that has the 3 peaches in there. And the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ink it up in Pale Papaya. And then with that Calypso Coral and the Dauber, I'm gonna just get those edges. A little bit, just give it a little bit of character, a little bit of color. And you really might not be able to see a lot of color on there, but if you turn it over, you might be able to see more. Now my poor stamp is so stained. He's been loved and used numerous times. So you can't see through him anymore. He's too stained. But look how cute it looks after you have those 2 colors on there. Now, since I have my scrap paper right here, and we need to do one little die cutting for the next card, I'm gonna go ahead and do it now as we finish up this card. So in that ball with some Balmy Blue, and wait, I need to clean my little flowers here real quick. I'm gonna take those and clean them, squeaky clean, can you hear that? And I'm also gonna clean that little flower insert, or the inside of the flower. And I don't know what that's called, so if you know what that's called, you gotta help a sister out. Okay, so I'm gonna ink up the blue here, or the flowers in the Balmy Blue, and just stamp those down. And then with that Early Espresso, I'm gonna do the inside of the flowers, and then that way we have to just run it through our die cut machine one time, and we'll have everything ready for the next card too. So a little bit of fireworks, I guess, that what it looks like to me on the inside there. And now let's move everything out of the way and use our die cut machine and the dies that come with this stamp set to cut these out. Okay, so there's plate number 1, cutting plate number 2, put my paper down here, and then get those dies out of my case here. I need the little flowers and the little peaches. Now I might have to get some washi tape to hold them on there. We'll see if I need that real quick. Set it like that, and then the little flowers. And you know what? I think they're gonna stay, so I'm gonna just go for it. Let's see what happens. No, it looks to be there. Nope, now it's a little off. Hold on. Okay, one more time, and then I'm getting the washi tape out. That was a threat. Oh, there we go. Okay, that second plate right on top, and then just run that through. And I'm only going to run through the peach because, of course, my flower moved again. So let me get the peaches out. Let me get the flowers lined up, and I'm going to use just a little bit of washi tape. I have a feeling that my cutting pad might be a little bit warped, and that's why my flowers aren't staying where I want them. There we go. A little bit of washi tape fixes that, and then we're going to run that through there. Cut those out. Very staticky here at my house. Whoop, that was a scrap that I used. Anyway, there we go. So I have my little flowers, my little peaches, and really my flower is not good at all. So I have a feeling I probably won't use that flower, but after the video, I'll go cut some more. I have plenty of cardstock left over from what I sent you that I can redo that flower. Okay, let's bring back in all those pieces for that peach card, including the base and the mechanism on the inside. We're going to start with the 2 pieces of designer series paper that look like, not the polka dot, that's going to go on the front, we're going to do that later, but we're going to bring in these 2 pieces like this. Now when I cut them and I put them in your packet, I made sure, goes this way, that they line up here at the top, or in the middle. So you're going to put them inside your card base like that. Now if you like this pattern better, then by all means they line up this way too. But I kind of like those little peaches on the inside, so I'm going to just take and put some snail adhesive, not snail, what is this called? Stampin' Seal on there. This is the bottom, so on the inside, on the bottom, I'm going to just put this one like so, and then this one is going to be the top. Oh, I'm almost out of tape and he is not cooperating. There we go. Okay. And then this one up here. And that is the beginning of the inside of our card that looks like that. Okay. Now with this piece here, and like I said, I can't remember the measurements on this piece, but if you go to my blog, the link would be below. You'll have all the measurements here and where it's scored. But we're going to fold this back. Try to get it straight here. And then turn it over, and I'm going to fold this piece back. So now I have a piece that looks like that. Okay, then I'm going to hold my card. Now this is the top of my card. Not that it matters which side you do first, but I have a habit of doing the top part first. I'm going to take, see how it looks like this? This is the fold here. I'm going to take this tab here, put glue all the way. Oh, now it moved. Here we go. This is the front, this is the fold here. I'm going to put glue on the back of this, and I'm going to use liquid glue. I think that tear and tape would work here too, but you need a strong adhesive to hold this down. So a little bit of glue on the back of that piece there, right? This again, let me show you. This is the fold. I have glue back here. I'm going to line it up with the top of the card base, not the designer series paper, and have it centered right there, close enough, and then hold that down. Let's see, I'm going to wiggle it until it looks pretty centered and straight, and there you go, just like that. So now that one piece is lined up to the top and in the center like this. I'm going to close it or put it flat again and put adhesive all over this piece here. And then I'm going to bring the card base here and close it on that piece and hold it down. Let that glue do its job. Set for a while. So now when you open your card, it looks like this. Now when you close your card, if you have a little bit of cardstock hanging off the edge like I do here, I'm going to just take my paper snips and I'm going to trim that down so it matches my card base, and now it looks really nice like that. There we go, like that. Now let's take those little squares, the little white ones that we stamped on, and the stylish stitch squares, or whatever these are called, this die cut. We're going to lay these right on to the center of those squares. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. All stamped and ready to go. They fit perfect right here on the inside in that stitching, like that. And then the last one on this stitch square. Okay, so we have all of our squares. Now I want mine to go, you're sweet as a peach. Nope, I'm gonna go to a sweet friend, you're sweet as a peach, and then have that peach, and then this is gonna be the bottom. So we're gonna glue those into our card base. Now this one at the top, I'm gonna just use liquid glue. It doesn't matter if you put glue all over, because this is gonna be flat and centered right here on the top of the inside of your card. I think I got it straight enough. Okay, and then this one, I'm gonna make sure I only put liquid glue on in the center. Top to bottom is fine, and I hope I have it the right way. Yes, I do. Because we're gonna put it onto here, we don't want glue on the sides. I hope that makes sense. I'll show you when I put it down. So this one, and I'm gonna make sure that I have it like square with this one up here, or lined up, I should say, up here, so it goes straight down the side. And see, I don't have glue on the side, so it's only stuck to this piece here in the center. Okay, now we're gonna put our peach down and keep going. Same thing, only in the middle, like this, lining it up with those other pieces. Looks pretty good right there. No glue on this side. We don't want to, whoops, let's go this way a little bit. There we go. There we go. No glue to make it stick to the back. And then this one, the bottom one, and this is where we would write our sentiment. I'm going to put glue all over all of it. We have a straggler here. Okay. And then lay that down right there. And just like that, after I get it straight, we have the inside of our card done. Now I'm going to just pull it flat. So now we know this is the front. I'm going to take that Designer Series paper, put a little bit of adhesive on the back of it, and lay that right here on the front. And then I'm going to use dimensionals to put this scalloped rectangle on the front of my card. And lay that, not upside down, right there. Look how cute that is so far. So far, so good, and it still opens up so I have it in the right way. Yay. And then on those little peaches that we die cut, I'm going to just put a dimensional on the back of those. And then I'm going to layer those over here on my stem. And I'm not sure which one goes where. I've done it probably different every time, but I think that looks good just like that. And then of course, last, we have this little piece of linen thread. I'm going to just tie a simple bow here. And I think I want him like a big flimsy, that's what I'm going to call him, a big flimsy bow. I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to take a glue dot here and fold it in half. So my folded glue dot, I'm just going to layer right here at the base of my stem, and then just put that right there onto that glue dot. Whoop, I missed my glue dot. Let me try that again. There we go. Now I got him on top of my glue dot. And then of course with my scissors that I use only for ribbon, marked with the ribbon, I'm going to trim, although this guy has a wild hair. There we go. Ooh, maybe I'm not going to trim him at all. Are they the same? Nope, this one is a little bit longer. I might have to work with this bow a little bit too to get that one to look good. There it goes. Just like that. That easy, just a little bit of work, and then there you go. There's your card. All done. Look how cute it is. Open it up. Has all those sayings. There's card number 1. Let's go to our packet again and bring in all the pieces for the second card. We're again going to start with stamping. So we have a scalloped rectangle again from the same contour scallop dies, and this piece of basic white fits inside there. We're going to stamp on that one. We have a strip like this that the Designer Series paper lays on. We're going to stamp on that one, and then we have this would be the inside of our card. We're going to stamp on that one too. And let me show you what this card looks like. It looks like, this is a bad one. I'm going to get a better one. Looks like this. This is the one. I like this one because the inside has that happy birthday on it too. So on the front, I'm going to start by stamping to a sweet friend and bring in my mat again here. And I'm going to kind of set my designer series paper where I think it should go. And I think that's what's going to help me get my sentiment right here straight. I'm also going to bring in that scallop rectangle so I can see, just for positioning, about where I want it. And with that Early Espresso ink, I'm going to stamp To a Sweet Friend. Let me see if I can find that stamp, because we just used, there it is right here, right in front of me. I'm going to ink that up in that Early Espresso and just stamp it down. Try not to get my head in the camera. Try to get it straight up here, about right there. I'm not applying a lot of pressure because you know those fine lines. You want to make sure that your ink pad has a lot of ink and you don't put a lot of pressure on your stamp. So I think I did pretty good. I'm sticking with that. While I have it here, I'm going to go ahead and put some adhesive on the back of my designer series paper and layer that right here onto that basic white, trying to leave it so it looks good with the border between the two of them, if that makes sense. Just like that. There you go. Okay. Okay, now we'll set that aside. We're done stamping on him. On this piece, I'm going to bring in that Pear Pizzazz and that group of stems again. And this time with my flowers, I want my stems to go up. So I'm going to turn it and kind of get it to where it's going to barely fit on here, side to side. But if you just wiggle it around a little bit, and then there it goes. It does fit on there, but it is kind of a close call. Like that. There we go. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the inside over here in the corner. Like that. Okay, then with that balmy blue again, I'm going to bring in those flowers. And I believe that now it's not going to line up perfect. The stamp set's not made for perfection, but I'm going to take the largest flower and put it at the top and then just kind of angle it around. But the largest flower, I believe, goes to the top of the stem. I'm kind of looking at the spaces in between here and these stems here, and it's not going to be perfect like I said, but I'm going to place my flower about there. So it looks, I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to take that. Then with some Early Espresso ink, I'm going to put in those little centers of my flower. Again, I call them the fireworks. That's what they look like to me. But right there on all three. And then with that happy birthday, I'm going to put the happy birthday up here on the inside. Now, if you don't want happy birthday, there's lots of other sentiments in there that you could put To a Sweet Friend and leave it at that and stamp those later. But I like happy birthday cards. I send out a lot. So I think that's all the stamping, except now let me remind you that one of my flowers I'm not happy with, so I'm going to redo my flowers, but I'll show you how I add the two that are okay. I'm going to take this and just add some adhesive to the back and put that onto the inside of my balmy blue card base here, like that. And I'm going to take this piece here and just make sure that it's about the same size. Now we're going to tie ribbon around that so it doesn't have to be perfect. Let's see if it has a little bit. I'm going to even trim off a little bit at this side. I think I put it on there crooked. But like I said, when I put that ribbon around there, oh, and I cut through both of them, oh well, good enough. I'm going to take this and layer this to the front of my card. A little bit below centered, like that. Bring my ribbon in there. Tie my ribbon all the way around the inside and onto the front here. I'm going to just tie a simple knot. I don't know if I gave you enough of this denim ribbon that I am really sad. The denim ribbon is from the mini catalog that's only goes through June 30th. So if you want some of this this denim ribbon, which I think is beautiful, soft, user-friendly, You got to get it before June 30th or before it sells out. And last I looked, it was still available. We just tie a simple knot right there. I'm going to kind of move my knot over here to the side. And then I'm going to layer this here. Maybe I am. There we go. Couldn't get him going. Right here on the inside of those stitching. And then on the back of this, I'm only going to add dimensionals to the top and to the bottom. That way I have that ribbon moves freely between the two and I can move my knot where I want it. So I'm going to put some dimensionals, or I'm going to get these dimensional backs off. And take this and lay it right here. And now I can move that knot where I want it and it doesn't get hung up on the dimensionals under there. I think it looks good right there. I'm not really happy with my, nah, I'm gonna be fine. Let it go. Get in some of those ribbon scissors and just trim those tails a little bit. This one a lot. Let's see if they're even. Are they even? No, this one's still a little bit too long. Take a little bit more off of that, and there you go. Whoop. I'll accept those little flowers on the back of these. Now, I told you 100 times I'm going to redo that one because I didn't do a very good job. But I'm going to put dimensionals on the backs of my flowers here. And again, I'm going to put the big flower up here at the top. And then the medium flower here at the bottom. And then when I redo this little flower, he'll go right here on dimensionals too. And then, bada bing, bada boom, he'll look like that. But I'm not going to have you sit here and watch me redo that one little flower. So let me bring in the cards again so you can see them. The second one looks like this. The first one that we did, where did I put him? Oh, here he is. Looks like this. And then the third card that I made for you this month looks like that. There you go. So if you have any questions, be sure and let me know. Watch for a text or an email. We need to figure out what stamp set or what bundle we're going to use for, excuse me, for July and August. And make sure you check your mail. You should have gotten your 2 new catalogs. The new mini catalog looks like this, and the celebration looks like this. Now you can't order out of these until July. But for June, you can order, like I said, this mini catalog right here, which is good till the end of June. And now some of this stuff has sold out, or you can order out of this catalog here. Be sure and use Stamp Club host code. If you have any questions, you let me know. Otherwise, I will talk to you real soon. Thanks for being a part of Club, and enjoy making your cards. Bye-bye.